Lee was down at the main Phoenix post office.
Alina, we hear post offices are seeing shorter lines.
Yes, Brittany. A few years ago, the lines would be out the door on tax day, but when I was out there today, there was no line at the post office. There will be 25% less mail processed this year. The reason? E-filing is growing in popularity. The post office is used to seeing a crowded room on tax day, but this year the workload is a little lighter.
90% of the folks are filing taxes online now.
More taxes filed over the internet means the post office is actually losing money.
The drop in volume, it means less revenue, less work hours spent on the tax day.
But it does mean more work for professionals who help people file electronically.
We do everything electronically, it's really fast.
David Clark, owner of Liberty Tax Services, says they see more e-filers because it's more convenient.
A lot of times we can get acceptances from the IRS and the state within 20 minutes of filing.
If you're getting money back, you'll also see that quicker if you e-file.
Once we put all their information into the computer, then we're able to see if they get a refund or if they owe money.
Still, if you need to file back taxes, you'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, and the post office is ready to help.
This location's open until 9:30, and then we have a satellite that's just down the street at the Phoenix Muni, and that's open till 9:30 as well.
The main Phoenix office is located at 48th Street and Van Buren, and the satellite location is just a few blocks away at 52nd Street and Van Buren. Live in the broadcast center, I'm Alina Lee, Cronkite News.
With today's federal tax deadline looming, many people are still rushing to get theirs filed.
But reporter Shane Dwyer found some people in Tempe who, with a helping hand, are resting easy today with their taxes done.
Had a pretty good tax return, except for it went right out the window as soon as I got it.
Taxes are something Jesse Zonlewski worries about every single year.
Nobody wants to pay to have their taxes done, so either you got to do them yourself or find somebody who can do them for you that's either cheap or free.
This military veteran found a free option right in Tempe.
That is beautiful. Thank you.
For the elderly, the disabled, or those with low income, paying someone to do their tax forms for them could end up eating a huge chunk of their return.
Being able to provide a free service for them at this income bracket is a big deal. They would have to pay $200 to $300 to get their taxes prepared elsewhere.
But if they come to the basement of Landing's credit union on Saturday mornings, they can bring their paperwork and leave with peace of mind.
So then the government knows what to do with your check.
Knowing that these ASU volunteers know what to do with their taxes.
Most of the time, it's actually not that complicated. So when they get it filed at, say, a professional firm at, like, say, H&R Block, it costs them a lot of money, even though we can do this in under 30 minutes for free.
And it's not just about taxes.
You have Southwest Gas?
Clients are offered social services as well.
Very involved in the community.
Although Honeycutt is now the CEO of Landings, she raised 3 kids as a single mother on low income and knows just how important the total package is.
For me to be able to provide that back as a service, is, I can't even begin to explain how it feels.
Zonlewski is just thankful for the extra cash.
I'm thinking this year's going to be a lot different. I'm hoping to spend a little bit more money on family and whatnot.
That wouldn't be there without the help of a few good volunteers.
Yes. We just have one last thing for you, is to sign.
In Tempe, Shane Dwyer, Cronkite News.
Some southern Arizona residents are getting pre-evacuation notices because of high winds expected near the site of the Brown Fire. So far, the Brown Fire has burned about 366 acres in the Huachuca Mountains, overlooking Sierra Vista. Crews are dropping retardant and water to try to stop the spread. Several hotshot teams are working to contain it, and a top-level fire management team is scheduled to take command this evening.
The city of Flagstaff is preparing to implement fire restrictions following an unusually dry winter that has contributed to wildfires in the area. Starting Friday morning, the ban is on all fire pits and other open flame devices. Charcoal grills and other devices that can be switched on and off will be allowed. The restrictions cover the city's urban trail system, disc golf courses, and city parks. Police say they're also expanding patrols into areas where people are known to camp.
You may have heard of e-cigarettes. They're battery-powered devices that put off vapor. And while the use has doubled in the last 6 years, I found out they're not popular with officials in at least one Arizona county.
I tried those pills and patches and all that stuff, and no, it just didn't do anything for me.
Chris Azimi has finally found a solution to his nicotine addiction: e-cigarettes.
It allows you to go down in incremental doses of nicotine to the point where eventually, obviously you're off.
Put down the cigarettes for months.
Ordinance would deal with other emerging technologies that currently are not covered by our ordinance.
Coconino County has already banned e-cigarettes in unincorporated areas. And soon, Flagstaff residents may not be allowed to smoke any cigarette alternatives, including hookah, pipes, and shishas in public places.
They could smoke it in their own home if they choose, but in a restaurant, in a bar, our proposal would restrict that.
They also won't be able to use the new devices on sidewalks and city parks. At Trader's Smoke Shop, there are dozens of e-cigarette flavors. But even though minors can't legally buy them, county officials are worried. Oxaby says they are also worried that the new cigarettes aren't regulated.
There have been no longitudinal studies on the effects of e-cigarettes. They're not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration.
Still, nicotine addicts say there is a benefit to the vapor cigarettes.
It is healthier than a cigarette, and it's really, I mean, it's helped me to stay off of cigarettes, and I really don't want to go back to smoking cigarettes.
The County Health Services Advisory Board will take their proposals to the Coconino Board of Supervisors in May. If passed, each city will decide if cigarette alternatives can be used in public.
The Arizona House has again voted to ban cell phone use by teen drivers for the first 6 months they hold their license. Today's 40-20 vote on Senate Bill 1168 marks the second time this session that the House passed the same provisions of the bill. The ban also applies to drivers who only have a learner's permit. The proposal bans all use of electronic communication devices, including texting. The only exception is in an emergency situation where stopping to make a call would be impossible or unsafe. However, police won't be allowed to make a traffic stop just because of cell phone use. And we've seen huge changes in the Arizona agency that oversees child welfare over the past few months. And just last week, lawmakers passed a budget cut, an over $20 million budget cut from Governor Brewer's requested funding. Tara Molina joins us to tell us how the new budget numbers add up for Arizona kids.
The budget may have passed, but both the legislature and the governor want to re-examine funding for the new child welfare agency. Some things that really stand out about the current budget plan is a lack of new funding for foster care and a significant cut in the governor's request for new caseworkers. First, foster care. There's no new money, and even though there's a backlog of 12,000 inactive cases. And while the governor wanted money for 140 new staff members, only 50 caseworkers were approved in the budget. But none of these numbers reflect the reality of what really happens to kids who get lost in the system. I found out that many of them are paying an extremely high price. A report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds.
They locked me in a pantry closet that you would use to put your paint cans.
Last year, there were over 22,000 cases of child abuse in Arizona.
The beatings, after a while, I stopped crying. I was asked, what, it doesn't hurt? I said, no, I'm used to it.
There are over 15,000 foster kids in Arizona.
I grew up in CPS, and what the staff taught us was never let your guard down.
More than 4 children die every day as a result of child abuse. And the rest of them grow up.
It's the big cases, right, that make the news. The kids who die in the boyfriend's hands, or the kids who die from, some really horrific child abuse. But what about, the kids who survive?
They grow up, but they never get over it.
Trust is hard with anybody. Even my own kids and my own grandkids.
Child abuse and trauma really affects the way that anyone who has suffered it will view the world from that experience forward.
Trusting people, getting too close, letting them too close was a problem for me.
What's becoming more common now, we're seeing with child abuse survivors, is a form of PTSD.
A lack of trust is really just the beginning. 2/3 of people in drug treatment programs were abused as children.
It took me in a world of drugs and drinking and just not caring. I had to be numb.
They're more likely to get pregnant in their teens, and they're 9 times more likely to get involved in crime.
I was going to jail so much, I wanted to stop going to jail.
They're going to go out, they're going to commit a crime, something as low level as maybe breaking into a car and stealing change out of it, and they're going to, get a record. And somebody's going to look at them and say, well, why didn't you get a job? And why didn't you, go to school? Because they didn't have someone at home to take care of them.
And perhaps worst of all, children who were abused
are more likely to abuse their own children.
A lot of people say it's easy. It's not. If you're brought up in abuse, it's really hard not to continue that abuse in your own family.
So the next time you see these headlines, keep in mind that what is happening to these children is really just the start.
The legislature will take another look at funding for the Child Welfare Agency. A plan for the new agency is due by May 1st. Tara Molina, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Expansion plan for one of the biggest breweries in Arizona, where you can expect to find some of your favorite beers.
A $100 million project is expected to bring thousands of jobs to Arizona's fastest growing community. That's up next.
Imagine being stranded.
Feeding 16,000 points for them.
From TV banks to computers.
Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Kiss me. That's my kind of man. You've been creating quite a stir.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death or life.
All the drama.
There's going to be changes at Downton.
It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
Next time you're in California, you can enjoy some of your favorite Phoenix beers. Reporter Nathan Delatorre takes us to a brewery that's tapping their kegs in California.
The workers at Santan Brewery are beer fanatics.
I got into this business because I love beer, and I thought there's no way that I'd ever get tired of doing anything to do with making beer.
When you drink a beer in Arizona, you're helping add to the $1.1 billion of revenue it provides to the state. And Santan Brewing Company is taking business to the next step by expanding their distribution to California.
This past year, Santan Brewing Company produced more than 15,000 barrels of beer.
And now that they're expanding outside the state, Santan Brewery's production will ramp up.
And our current production is going to be about 25,000 barrels this year. Year by year, we're increasing by about 50 to 100% per year.
In Arizona, brewing companies can only legally create 40,000 barrels of beer each year at an individual facility. But new legislation could increase the output from these barrels. For now, Wilson wants to focus on California and is excited to drink some of his favorite brews.
We go to San Diego a lot and just on vacation and things. Why not be able to buy our own beer while we're out there? It would be really kind of cool.
In Chandler, Nathan Delatorre. In Chandler, Cronkite Nathan Delatorre, Cronkite News.
Santan Brewing Company is the only Arizona brewery to serve California, and they plan to expand into Texas this June.
In just a few hours, the Valley will see a brand new state route open up, and it could mean big changes for East Mesa. Developers of a new housing community hope the new stretch will make the area around Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport a destination point. Reporter Kaylee Formicella was at the site of the route's preview today. Kaylee?
Yeah, you know, Dom, standing on the corner of Elliott and Ellsworth roads, you can't see much more than a couple signs, some dusty roads, and a bit of construction. Well, that construction cost the city of Mesa $100 million, and with it, they bought not only the new Arizona State Route 24, but also an opportunity to build a better community. The end of Arizona State Route 24 may not look like much now, but with its ribbon cutting tonight at 5:30, the community is expecting a thriving city to blossom. The route was originally built to support traffic in and out of the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport and the planned additional terminal there. Senior Vice President and General Manager of Eastmark Community sees much more potential. like the nearly 15,000 homes his company plans to build there over the next few decades.
The Southeast Valley is known for high wages, very educated population, and it seems to attract individuals that want to, move to Arizona to live in the Southeast Valley because that's where the jobs are at.
Both the community and its developers see the Arizona State Route as an economic engine. That engine has already attracted big businesses like Apple and an extension of the Grand Canyon University. GCU's new Mesa campus is expected to open in fall of 2015. Live from Phoenix, I'm Kaylee Formicella, Cronkite News.
Coming up on Newswatch.
Libraries are a great option to keep kids reading, but a new program is also urging them to go high-tech.
We may be experiencing sunshine here, but other states aren't so lucky. Find out where in your weather next.
Newswatch is one of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think, it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
What if we could unlock every mystery?
We're at the beginning of a revolution.
That's a huge discovery.
That's never been done before, ever, anywhere.
Touchdown confirmed.
No one feeds on curiosity like PBS. Give to your PBS station so future generations can keep asking, what if?
I am a chef. I cook for a living. And I think of PBS as a window to the world. That kind of place where you feel you are part of the story. I want to be part of every possible world is out there. That's when things become really amazing. And when you are able to see stories that make you wonder, makes you think, that's what really makes PBS so meaningful. And that's the kind of TV we need to be supporting today.
Summer reading might be the last thing on your child's mind, but a new Arizona program is turning to computers to get your child reading. Lauren Wells hit the books to learn more.
Getting books in the hands of kids.
Terry Clark just wants kids to read.
And having kids read all the time, anytime, everywhere.
Especially when kids want to do anything but.
During the summer is an important step.
But this program isn't about picking from the stacks of books here, but swiping through the titles online. Read On Arizona is an online kid-friendly library, hoping to make books more accessible.
The program has more than 4,000 books available online for kids to read.
You know, when kids are accessing these digital books online, they can access them over and over again. They can pause their reading in the book and come back to it later, come back to it a week later. That book will always be there.
The online library helps kids retain what they've learned in school.
They're not reading over the summer, they don't gain new vocabulary, and what happens is what we call the summer slide, and they actually backtrack.
And if the program hits its goal, Terry hopes kids will want to go online and learn.
So this is a chance for them to do it sort of on their time, at their pace.
And with the technology of a new generation. In Phoenix, Lauren Wells, Cronkite News.
This is a pilot program set to run through September. If it proves successful, organizers plan to add up to 3,000 more online books.
Spring has started for us here in Arizona, but the winter is not quite yet done in Detroit. A strong cold front came in through Monday night, knocking the power out in more than 100,000 homes and businesses. The city is also expected to see about 2 or 3 more inches of snow. You can see the Great Lakes area being hit with some snow, but the storm we really need to be paying attention to is a storm hitting the East Coast. I'm talking about snow, rain, and thunderstorms all in one storm. They can also expect some flooding in those areas too. And the Midwest is also being hit with some snow and rain also. But here in Phoenix, we don't have to worry about any of that. As we are at 88 degrees with partly cloudy skies and winds at about 6 miles per hour. Temperatures will drop as we head into tonight though, with a 64 in Yuma, 31 in Grand Canyon, 39 in Cholo, and 55 in Tucson. As we head into tomorrow, going to be a warm day in Yuma with a high of 96, 95 in Phoenix, 71 in Cholo, and 75 in Page. As we head into the next 5 days, though, we're going to have a beautiful day tomorrow with a high of 95 in clear skies on Wednesday. As we head into Friday, we will drop a little bit with a high of 85 with partly cloudy skies, but we will warm right back up on Saturday with a high of 90 and partly cloudy skies and a high of 89 on Sunday with partly cloudy skies. That's it for your Cronkite weather. I'm Taylor Bryant.
In baseball, one that changed the game forever, while another anniversary reminds us of all those still overcoming a tragedy that changed a city forever.
We are Boston. We are America. We respond. We endure. We overcome. And we own the finish line.
A tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning.
Digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
What if television could sweep us away to another time and place?
Very nice, my lady.
And could take us from the Gilded Age to the Great War. From the heat of the chase to the heart of a queen. No one tells stories like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring stories like these to life. What if television could remember the heroes we honored, the music we danced to, the dreams we chased?
The hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
No one tells our nation's story like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring America's story to life.
I know that no memorial, no words, no acts can fully provide the solace that your hearts and soul still yearn to acquire.
Today, we remember the lives of those lost exactly 1 year ago in the Boston Marathon bombing as citizens, survivors, and responders gathered at the finish line. One survivor recalled running towards smoke and danger to help others and closed on a simple yet very moving sentiment.
I am so proud to be a Bostonian because I am so proud to be connected to all of you.
Today marks another anniversary. 77 years ago, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, forever changing America's pastime. And today, at every baseball game, every player on every team will wear the retired number 42 in honor of the first African-American to professionally play the game of baseball. And how fitting they aren't playing the Dodgers, but the Diamondbacks are playing the National League's New York team, the Mets, on Jackie Robinson Day. The Metropolitans rolled into town yesterday and started the series with the young gun Zach Wheeler, while the struggling D-backs went with Josh Colmenter. And early on, the Mets are off to the races, Camptown races that is, because Lucas Duda knocks 4 hits and drives in 2 runs, and Wheeler holds the D-backs to 2 runs over 6 1/3 innings. The Mets leave 24 men on base, but still go on to win 7-3. The now 4-12 D-backs may not be headed to the World Series, but the ASU softball team probably will be. Cronkite sports reporter Nick Merrick introduces us to one Sun Devil for whom being the best is nothing new.
3 years ago, Dallas Escobedo pitched the Sun Devils into history. And now she has something else to celebrate.
It was like a regular Monday for me and my roommate and a couple of the girls. We just went hiking and then coming down Camelback Mountain. They're just like, you got drafted #1.
And one of her friends who high-fived her on the hike will be her competition in the pros next season.
Dallas's dad was actually the one that told me about it, and we were talking with him, and he was congratulating Dallas, and then he's like, oh, wait, Shine just got drafted. So we were together, we just hiked Camelback, and when Dal got down the mountain, I was like, congratulations, #1.
And Coach Craig Nicholson knows it's a big deal.
The fact that they're going to have an opportunity to continue playing after their college career is done is great for them. Obviously great for our program.
But first,
the Sun Devils have some unfinished business.
This is my 4th year, and like the first 3 years here, we went to the World Series, and so just kind of getting back to that would be the topper.
With ASU ranked in the top 5, Dallas has another chance to be number 1 on the field with her teammates. In Tempe, Nick Merrick, Cronkite Sports.
And for Dallas and all of the Devils, a championship would be a capstone to the end of an era for ASU softball. But for the Suns, it isn't the end of an era so much as the end of a season. After losing to the Grizzlies last night, the Suns are now out of playoff contention and can start planning ahead for the draft. Now, guys, I know Jackie Robinson Day is always a great day for baseball, but with the anniversary of the Boston Marathon, it's just a bittersweet day.
It is kind of bittersweet, but you know what's bittersweet is kind of how I feel about you trying to work singing into your bit today. I don't know, maybe it could be a career for you. Kind of need to hear it again.
We'll see later.
We don't have enough time tonight, though. That's it for Cronkite NewsWatch tonight.
Thanks for joining us and have a good night.